Welcome to the deep dive. So, you sent us this audio file. Earth is a prison planet, and we are all captives here. .mp3. And we listened. We have to say it's certainly a perspective.
It really is. Quite something.
Our mission today is basically to dig into what this audio is actually claiming, explore its arguments,
Right. What's the core theory here?
Exactly. We'll look at this idea that humans aren't from Earth originally, that the planet is like a prison,
A prison planet, yeah.
and why the audio thinks we ended up here in cosmic lockdown. So, yeah, let's unpack this. It's pretty out there.
It is, but what's interesting, or maybe striking, is how it tries to lay things out logically, despite the wild premise. It starts with a sort of basic question, doesn't it? If life's here.
Then why not elsewhere? Yeah, it jumps right in. Life on Earth means life is probably common everywhere. Standard enough idea, maybe.
But then it takes that leap.
A big leap, saying humans didn't evolve here. And it claims there's, no real scientific evidence that we did.
Which is, of course, contrary to mainstream science, but okay. That's the foundation it builds on.
An off-world origin.
Exactly. The source argues our ancestors, it calls them Cro-Magnoids or Homo sapiens, weren't native. They were brought here.
Exiled and
Exiled and imprisoned, yeah. Around 50, maybe 60,000 years ago.
And before that, according to this audio, these early humans were just cruising the universe.
Apparently. Living freely, had rights, responsibilities, even advanced tech.
Wow, okay. It even brings up skin color differences.
Attributes that to adaptation on different planets our ancestors supposedly lived on before Earth.
Okay, so that leads to the obvious question. If we're not from here, why are we here?
Right, and the audio gives a pretty specific and, frankly, dark reason. It claims some of these ancestors started showing, well, it calls it insanity and criminal behavior.
Insanity. Okay, so exile to Earth was the answer.
That's the theory prevented. Earth was chosen because it's remote, has varied climates, could support hominid life. Basically a good place to stick the problem population.
The cosmic Alcatraz.
You could put it that way, yeah. To contain them, stop the disruption spreading. It even hints that maybe, genetic modification was forbidden or perhaps it went wrong in the past.
So they couldn't just fix them genetically.
Apparently not, according to this source. So exile was the plan.
And the conditions of this exile, they sound pretty harsh.
They do. The audio gets quite detailed. It suggests, first off, a memory wipe.
A memory wipe, serious.
Total amnesia. Then, stripped of all tools, all technology.
Just dropped here.
Dumped in different climates.
Yes.
Supposedly mirroring their old home worlds, maybe, but totally isolated from any intergalactic civilization. Contact forbidden.
And monitored.
Constantly monitored, it claims. Periodic checks. And the journey here, how did they get here?
Let me guess. UFOs.
Bingo. A massive fleet of UFOs, according to the audio.
Right. Now, how does the audio try to back this up with stuff we actually know or think we know about Earth's history?
Well, it points to the fossil record. It acknowledges that, yes, science shows other hominids, monkeys, apes were here for ages.
But modern humans.
Anatomically modern humans, Homo sapiens, Cro-Magnon, they appear relatively suddenly.
When?
Around that 50,000 to 60,000 year mark, which, conveniently for the theory,
lines up perfectly with their exile time frame.
Exactly. That's the link it draws.
And it uses this sudden appearance to question gradual evolution here on Earth.
It also looks at what happened to Neanderthals, their rapid decline after Cro-Magnon arrived.
What does it say about that?
Well, it highlights the timing, suggesting maybe it wasn't just competition. And then it throws in something really out there.
Oh.
The idea that maybe Yeti and Bigfoot legends, maybe those are actually pockets of surviving Neanderthals.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, that's quite a stretch.
It's definitely leaning into speculation there.
Yeah.
But it uses the Neanderthal decline as another piece of its puzzle.
And then there's the creative explosion, right? Art, tools, farming.
Yeah, all that stuff that seems to blossom relatively quickly after modern humans show up. The audio argues this isn't evolution in action.
So what is it then?
It's evidence, the source claims, of pre-existing knowledge bubbling up, a kind of genetic memory.
Genetic memory. Inherited knowledge.
That's the concept, that our intelligence, our abilities aren't just learned in one life. We inherit instincts, knowledge, capabilities from those supposed alien ancestors.
So we were smart already, just forgot.
Kind of, yeah. The potential was always there, encoded in our genes. The exile and memory wipe just suppressed it for a while.
How does it try to prove this genetic memory idea?
It points to savants. People like Leslie Lemke or blind Tom Wiggins, Alonzo Clemens, individuals with extraordinary innate talents, music, math, art, stuff they couldn't possibly have learned conventionally.
So savants are like glitches in the Matrix, showing this hidden memory.
That's basically how the audio frames it, yes. Proof that complex abilities can exist without being learned in the traditional sense.
And our recent technological boom, the last 100 years or so.
The audio sees that as us finally starting to tap back into that genetic memory.
Ah.
A reversion to our natural state, it calls it. We're remembering how to be technologically advanced.
So building computers and rockets is just remembering, not inventing.
From the perspective of this audio file, yeah. It's less about brand new invention and more about accessing deeply buried knowledge from our species' past, like waking up from amnesia.
Okay, so we get exiled, lose our memory, start remembering things via genetic recall. But the story doesn't end there, does it?
Not according to the source, no. It claims we haven't been left alone.
The monitoring?
Constant observation by aliens, presumably the descendants or agents of those who exiled us, using UFOs for thousands of years.
And it claims this is being covered up.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Government, science, religion, all accused of concealing the truth about UFOs and this ongoing surveillance.
Does it mention any specific events?
It brings up Roswell.
Yeah.
1947. Claims that was a crash involving advanced alien tech that was recovered.
Of course. So why watch us for so long? What's the point?
Two main reasons given. One, track our development. See if we're overcoming those negative behaviors. Two, make sure we don't leave.
Prevent escape from prison Earth.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Or premature re-entry into galactic society before we're deemed rehabilitated.
Rehabilitated. So what are the possible outcomes here, according to the audio?
It lays out two paths, basically. Path one,
Yeah.
we manage to fix ourselves genetically and behaviorally. We repair the flaws.
And then?
Then we get reintegrated, allowed back into the galactic community. Parole granted, I guess.
Okay. And path two?
Path two is less optimistic. If we continue with the negative behavior, the violence, the destruction,
Then what?
then conflict. Direct confrontation with these monitoring aliens.
Oh.
A war, the audio warns, that we definitely cannot win.
And our own technological progress, like developing space travel, that makes things worse.
It accelerates the timeline, according to this theory. As we get closer to being able to leave Earth on our own, it forces their hand. It could trigger that confrontation sooner rather than later.
Does it offer any, like, mainstream proof for this monitoring or potential conflict?
It tries to bolster its case by mentioning various high-profile figures who've spoken about UFOs or expressed concern about potential alien contact or threats.
Like who?
People like President Jimmy Carter, Monsignor Corrado Balducci from the Vatican, Major Donald Keyhoe, General Douglas MacArthur, even Colonel Philip Corso, who wrote about Roswell Tech.
So using their statements to suggest, see, even they know something's going on.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Weaving those names and their known interest or statements about UFOs into its narrative as supporting evidence for this ongoing alien presence and the potential danger.
Okay, so let's just try to recap the core argument of this audio file you sent in.
All right, let's break it down.
1. Humans are not native to Earth. We're an alien species.
Correct. Originating elsewhere in the universe.
2. Earth is a prison planet. We were exiled here tens of thousands of years ago.
Yep, because of inherent flaws, insanity, and criminal behavior.
3. Our intelligence and rapid progress aren't just evolution. They're rooted in genetic memory from our advanced ancestors.
Right, we're remembering things, not just learning them from scratch.
And 4. We're under constant alien surveillance, and our future depends on whether we fix ourselves or end up in a conflict we can't win.
That sums up the main points pretty well. It's a comprehensive, if highly unconventional, narrative.
It absolutely is. It definitely makes you question things, or at least look at them from a completely different angle, challenges a lot of standard ideas about who we are and where we came from.
It does. Regardless of whether you buy into it, it's a framework that attempts to explain a lot our origins, our nature, even things like UFO sightings.
Yeah, it ties a lot of disparate threads together, doesn't it?
Mhm.
And look, considering how fast humanity is changing, technologically speaking, and the fact that these UFO reports just don't seem to go away entirely,
Yeah.
it does make you pause, right?
It prompts questions.
Yeah. Like, how might our understanding of ourselves need to shift? Is it possible, even remotely, that the real story is stranger than mainstream science currently tells us?
Are explanations outside the conventional box worth thinking about? Even the really extraordinary ones like this.
Exactly. Something to mull over. We
Yeah.
definitely encourage you, the listener, to think more about these ideas, explore the topics it raises. Wherever you land on the whole prison planet theory itself, it's certainly memorable.
It is that. Definitely a deep dive into some deep, strange waters.